Just a few seconds from the opening bell this Monday morning. We'll tell you how it opens. Probably going to be down just a little in the very early going. The market's open. It's showdown time in California. The Oakland City Council votes to cut 80 police officer positions in an effort to trim the city's $30 million deficit. The main issue here, though, is pension reform. Joining us is Joseph Fichera, Saber Partners Chief Executive Officer. Joseph, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, here's the story as I understand it. Oakland says to 80 cops, you're fired, unless you accept concessions on your pensions. That's the standoff. I see this as a game changer. What say you?
I think it's a game changer too, but it also reminds you of things that happened in the private sector a while ago as well in terms of a restructuring and having that. But the public sector has deferred that issue, and because politicians don't really want to deal with the fact. But it's not a simple solution. I mean, that is a negotiating stance. There's going to have to be a combination of both benefit cuts and taxes, and the notion that you need more comprehensive reform. But what we don't even understand right now is looking at these Oakland or California, that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg, because no one can really agree on how big the numbers are, because the math in the government accounting is different than the math in corporate.
Understood. Now, you're the expert in the field, but everybody agrees. I think there is broad-based agreement that we cannot keep the promises that we've made to current municipal workers in terms of their pension. We can't do that. No matter what number you come up with, we can't pay that amount of money. So the rubber hits the road at this point. And I think that this Oakland situation will be repeated elsewhere in the country.
Well, I think you've already seen Oakland, besides the whole state of California is dealing with that. But New Jersey is dealing.
But isn't this the first time, though, that they've really gone after existing pension benefits and started to cut them or claw them back?
Well, Illinois tried to do something. I think there have been other states. Colorado has been trying to claw back and changing. Part of your problem is that pension benefits are often protected by state constitutions.
Yeah.
Which, in terms of making the promise. And plus, the Americans have a central essence of fairness. That deal was cut. The pensioner who relied on it in the past, worked 20 years, that was one of the reasons. He or she may have accepted a lower salary as a result. But the world has changed, and that is true. But the issue here is that you're not going to be able to cut your way out. You're not going to be able to, in terms of cutting budgets, because you'll have a multiplier effect of problems, because you still need growth. You still need to be able to cut.
All understood. Do you think that the end point is a federal bailout?
I think it's going to be pushing towards that, because unfortunately
you're saying yes, aren't you? Because there's no way around it.
Well, I think the problem will be, that's where people will go. I don't think it'll happen, because it is both a huge moral hazard, and there are the facts that there are states who have kept their house in order who will say, I'm not going to let that happen, to bail out California for someone else after I'm okay.
If they don't get a federal bailout, you have mass cuts in education, police, firefighters, toll takers, janitors. You have massive cuts. There's no way around it.
You have budget restructuring and cuts, but you have lots of taxes.
Budget restructuring. You cut to the bone. I'm sorry, there's another company right here.
It makes no sense to me that we're following rules that were created back when we rode a horse and buggy to work. You mentioned these state constitutions. Do something about them. Why are we still adhering to these rules?
Because that's part of our national tradition of laws, and that we don't change the rules after.
Wait a minute.
They were created at a time.
No, I'm not a lawyer.
I bet you were trained as a lawyer.
No, I bet.
Are you telling me that we can't? Are you telling me that we can't set a posse of lawyers onto this and get a lawyer's legal fix for this situation?
I think Colorado is trying to do some things, and there is a law. IBM tried to do. I think Boeing did some things and was then supported by the law. But again, you're going down a path of thinking that would solve 50, 60, 70, 80% of the problem. It won't.
No, it's a plan for now that may help in the future. But last question to Charles.
I guess that's what I want to say. You keep suggesting that we need to grow right now and save. I mean, can't we just take a hit? Should the American public be braced to take a hit in a slower economy so that we heal ourselves for the future?
Yes, the realism of knowing, first agreeing on the numbers, which we never do, but also understand that sacrifice is ahead for everyone. And we don't see the political will in Washington from the top down in terms of that notion of a comprehensive solution that involves both cuts and taxes.
I can sum it up by saying that you agree with us.
Absolutely.
That Oakland is a game changer.
It could be. Could be.
Okay. Sir, Joseph Fichera, we thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate the discussion.
It was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Will you come back?
I will.
You're a glutton for punishment. Hold still right there for a second.
I'm a Catholic.